welcome to MLB Tonight, presented by Camping World Fran Charles, and alongside Harold Reynolds and Dan Plezak, NTT Home Plate Cam, bringing us Harold and Dan shots. Guys, great to see you. I know you've done a few of these. This is my first one, but Danny, let me start with you. What do you miss most here about baseball that maybe you took for granted when we dealt with it from an everyday perspective?
Fran, I thought about this for a while, and I miss a lot of things. I miss walking into the ballpark and hearing the crack of the bat, looking at the grass and the field and the grounds crew guys laying the chalk. I miss seeing, husbands and wives and sons and daughters eating popcorn. I miss the Ivy at Wrigley Field, the Clydesdales in St. Louis, Bernie the Brewer in Milwaukee, the dot race in Oakland. I even missed the rally monkey in Anaheim. And if you're a pitcher, you hate the rally monkey. I miss Sweet Caroline in Boston. Other than that, Fran, I'm not missing a whole lot.
Yeah, no doubt. And Harold, look, obviously, this crisis is serious business, but it looks like from the medical experts, we are starting to get some good news that the social distancing is starting to work. We're starting to see some of the benefits of it.
Well, we got to keep going. I don't want to give somebody some false hope. We still got a long ways to go. If you live out here like we do, you're in the middle of the storm, and a lot of conversation about going across the country still. So continue to wash, continue to keep your distance. It seems like it is starting to work a little bit, but we got a long way to go, and we got to stay at it.
All right, the baseball community certainly doing its part. Let's update you on a couple of charitable organizations. The Washington Nationals, they are hooking up with Chef Jose Andres and his global national charity here, World Central Kitchen. They're actually at Nationals Park. They're making about 5,000 meals a day, and Uber Eats is delivering them to people who need food. So kudos to those guys. For more charitable works, let's check in with Matt Vasgersian, who visited with Bud Black and Dave Roberts.
Well, among the games that were supposed to have taken place by now in the 2020 schedule, a nice three-game series between NL West rivals, the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Colorado Rockies. Their managers have a lot in common. Both former managers of the year, both left-handers, which explains a lot if you know these guys. And they, right now, are about 3 miles apart from one another, but sequestered in their own homes. Dave Roberts and Bud Black, it's good to have you guys on with us. Hey, Doc, let's start with you. Just give us an update in the Roberts house. How you guys holding up?
Matty, we're staying pretty busy, watching a lot of shows, spending time with the dogs, reconnecting. And it's obviously with what's going on in our world and our country, there's still been a lot of quality family time. Maybe a little too much eating and drinking, though.
Yeah, I think we all identify with that. Buddy, for you, for the kids, for your wife, who's a healthcare professional, a little different perspective on what's happening out there these days. How are you guys holding up?
Yeah, Matty, we're doing fine. Like you said, 2 daughters here in town. They're relatively close up here in North County, near us. Actually, Doc is sort of right in between us as our houses align. But things are well. We're healthy. We're doing our thing at home, and obviously with wife Nan and her connection to the local hospitals here, we're getting connected with some of the people here in town.
Just as a way of proving how well you guys know one another, one question for each of you about the other guy. So, Bud, this one's for you. True or false? Eric Burns left UCLA with almost 100 more hits than Dave Roberts collected as a Bruin. True or false?
I'm going to say false.
Attaboy, Blackie.
It is a true fact that our Eric Burns.
Wow.
By the way, the all-time UCLA hits leader, Doc? How did that happen?
Hey, Eric, I got nothing but love for Burnsy, but God, I didn't realize that he beat me by over 100 hits. That's pretty impressive. He looks good in that Bruin jersey, man.
He looks yoked. He looks like he's ready for the military there. By the way, you left UCLA and still hold the all-time stolen base record, so we want to make sure we get that in. All right, Doc, this is for you. A question about Buddy. Which iconic baseball moment was Bud Black not a part of? A, the George Brett Pine-Tar game, B, Reggie Jackson's 500th career homer, or C, the Seinfeld episode where Danny Tartable wears cotton?
So I know he was a part of the George Brett game, and I'm going to go C.
Yes, that's incorrect as well. No, you're right. That's the right answer. He was not a part of Seinfeld. And that actually stumbles me into Danny Tartable for some weird reason as an offshoot here.
I mean, he looked as good in his uni as anybody.
Hey, before we let you go, Dave, talk a little bit, if you would, about what you're up to charitably in San Diego. I know there are a lot of people hurting right now. How is it that you guys are helping out?
Well, I think that thanks for bringing it up, Maddie. My wife, Tricia, Buddy and his wife, Nan, we got this idea with a friend of ours who owns Sushi on the Rock here in San Diego. And you're looking at these frontline workers that are sacrificing their health, their time away from families, and just in the spirit of what can we do as people, former players, to help local businesses as well as the frontline hospital workers. So basically, we've just come together with local restaurants and supply food to them. And we've done a good job. And Trevor, Tracy Hoffman, David, Nina Wells are on board. So a lot of people have kind of jumped on, which is fantastic. And we're moving it up to LA as well. And our team president, Andrew Friedman, and his wife, Robin. So it's been a good thing. And I think, Maddie, it's good in this time. And I think we'll look back at it's going to benefit a lot of us as far as looking for opportunities to help other people. And this country's shown resilience, and a little bit of what Buddy and I and our wives are doing.
Yeah, Buddy, Sushi on the Rock, as you know, is San Diegans. We're not talking about the stuff they put in the tinfoil in the grocery stores. This is legit stuff here. Good work by you guys. I love that.
Well, we have Paul and Celeste who run Sushi on the Rock, and they've been a big part of clubhouses in San Diego for, going on 10 or 15 years. And, Doc and Trish came up with, the idea to get involved with the hospitals. And like Doc said, the people on the front lines, the nurses, the doctors, the staffers, cleaning people, whoever, who have a tough time maybe getting a meal if cafeterias are closed and otherwise are grinding through, hours at the hospital. It worked out great. Like Doc said, it sort of sparked my interest as well, because of what the Rockies did, on our home opener, we had, if you're probably aware of sort of a virtual game of past Rocky first 9-inning games. And there was a donation along the way of, Feed the Rockies and Feed Colorado, the food bank of Colorado and Wyoming. There was a great fundraiser there. And, the food situation now, is really important, what's going on. And I think, Doc and Trish and, Doc mentioned, the Hoffmans and the Wells and others are so involved down there. And there's a ton of ball players down here that are helping, behind the scenes and, sort of anonymously. So it's great to have, a lot of guys in our community helping out.
Hey, we really appreciate the time today, guys. Great work locally there in San Diego, helping out the healthcare workers and the frontline folks, as you mentioned. It's good to visit with you both. I wish it was happening under different circumstances, but we'll see each other at the ballpark very soon, we hope.
Thanks, Maddie.
All right, Maddie. We'll see you out there, man, whenever that is.
Hi, Matty V. Good stuff. Hey, coming up next, one of my favorite parts of what we do here at the network. You send them in, our experts break them down. Sandlot to the show with Dan and Harold. Coming up next.
MLB Tonight is presented by Camping World, making RVing fun and easy since 1966. Visit campingworld.com today.
Welcome back to MLB Tonight, presented by Camping World.
Hey, Hunter, it's Dan Plesac from MLB Network. Love your video on Sandlot to the show.
You mean business when you step up at the home plate. I do have a couple things that I think you can benefit from, so let me show you.
Try to keep a little bit more level and pull that thing down.
I want you to hit to the ball and threw the ball.
Work on your sway a little bit.
I load, black on that.
Line drives back up the middle, and it looks like you can react in.
And don't give up, big fella. You look great.
It's that time again. One of my favorite parts of what we do here at MLB Network. You send the videos in and our guys break them down. Time now for Sandlot to the show. So let's get started. First off, we're going to check out with Anthony, who's doing some relay drills with his father. H, tell me what you see here. You like it?
Fred, I got a couple of really good ones for you. One, father and son combination, working on what they call turn two, or you can even do it with relays. And if you're by yourself, you just find a wall. Spread yourself like that. You don't have a partner to work with. You want to work on that right there. The key is when you concentrate on stopping that ball right here, so it just pops into your hand. It just pops into your hand. All right? And the more you do that, the more you become routine to you. I love that drill.
H trying to get those hands quicker. Christopher Dan working on a bullpen, working on fastballs and changeup, even shaking off pops down there. What do you see here, Dan?
Hey, Christopher, it's Dan Plesac from MLB Network. Hey, watch the video from Sandlot to the show that you sent in. Loved your mechanics, man. I'll tell you what, you have a good riding four-seam fastball. Only thing I could do if I would give you a little bit of advice, try to keep your chin more on target. The harder you start to throw, the more your kind of head pulls off to the left and you start falling towards first base. You remind me a lot of Garrett Cole. You've got some good ride on that fastball. Keep it up, Chris. Looking really good.
Wow, Garrett Cole. Chris, you're going to be rich, too. Like Garrett Cole. All right, Nick Harold takes some grounders here on his knees, on the pavement. What do you think?
All right, the next one, Nick, I love this. Just catch the ball off the wall. The reason you're on your knees is it forces you to get your hands here and your eyes to get out in front of you. You don't want to catch the ball back here. You want to catch it out here like this. It just puts you in a great fielding position. Now you can work it to the left, the middle, and even a backhand. So the wall really allows you to throw the ball wherever you want it. The key, catching the ball out in front, whether it's here, whether it's there, or whether it's on the backhand. Tracks my ball, my eyes into it, everything else.
All right, Danny, and finally, Colston really wanted to get a good look with the slow-mo here, working on the slide step. What do you see?
Hey, Dan Plesac from MLB Network. Sandlot Dreams. Wow. Somebody's worked with you a lot on your mechanics. Really like the way you throw. I know it's indoors, and you're trying to make do, especially now with the coronavirus, staying inside. I can see you're kind of in the playroom, but man, I like your delivery. Great follow through. You keep your chin. You drive that lead elbow right down towards your side. Looking really good. Whatever you're doing, who's ever helped you, continue to do what you're doing. It looks fantastic. You've got a shot someday to pitch in the big leagues.
All right, good stuff on Sandlot to the show. Coming up Wednesday, it's the 73rd anniversary of Jackie Robinson breaking MLB's color barrier. Hear from some of the game's greats on what they think about Jackie. That's next.
Home Plate Camp is presented by NTT.
Welcome back to MLB Tonight, presented by Camping World. Hey, with Jackie Robinson's Day coming April 15th, this Saturday's episode of Play Ball features interviews with Ken Griffey Jr. and Robinson Cano. Now, in this sneak peek, Jr. discusses Jackie's mental toughness with Harold, tells a legendary story from his days in Little League.
Let me ask you about Jackie Robinson Day. What does that mean when somebody says, what's Jackie Robinson Day mean to Ken Griffey Jr.? How do you answer that?
It means everything. It should mean everything to baseball. If it wasn't for him, there's a lot of people who wouldn't be able to play.
Baseball refreshing itself once more with new players, eager men. Among them a talented athlete from the University of California. His name was Jackie Robinson.
Baseball's a sport that everybody can play. You know, it's not like basketball where you got to be a certain type. You know, football where, you know, they're looking at certain builds. Baseball's the only sport. If you got heart, don't matter how big or small you are. If you got heart, you can play. Let's play.
Jackie Robinson set his sights and sent a stretching home run into the left field stands to put Brooklyn ahead 9-8.
Jackie Robinson capped the season by winning Rookie of the Year honors.
Like, you learn from the history of the game. And part of, you know, the Jackie Robinson without all these guys, there would not be, you know, a Ken Griffey Sr., Ken Griffey Jr., you know, because who knows when the next time they were going to let an African-American baseball player in.
Yeah. No, it's powerful.
And, you know, the one thing that sticks out is, you know, Branch Rickey said, I want somebody who won't fight. I want somebody strong enough who won't fight. And that says a lot about him. It's like, there's a whole lot of people that wouldn't have put up with some of the stuff he'd have put up with.
There's a lot of Ken Griffey Jr. stories, but one I will never forget is I don't think you made it out in organized baseball until you were like 14.
No, until my second year. My first year I didn't make an out. My second year I made an out. And I cried.
So you were how old?
Oh, 10.
10, 11?
Yeah.
Never made an out, and you cried like a baby.
Oh, yeah. Sat there at first base. Mom walked over to me. I said, what's wrong? I said, I made an out. She goes, she goes, your dad makes plenty out. I go, I'm not him. I just didn't, my biggest thing, making outs was just, it's tough. You know, at that age, you know,
That's just funny. Didn't make it out.
I didn't like
until your second year of baseball.
It's a hard pill to swallow when you make an out.
That's it, pretty good. Guess what? He doesn't need speed. That's gone. Ken Griffey Jr. a walk-off home run. He's the king of the Queen City tonight.
I tell people all the time, Little League Baseball, enjoy it. The biggest thing my dad had said, my mom said, is who got the best snacks after the game? That's all you should worry about. Because the only people are mad after the end of the game are the parents. I can't believe this, I can't believe that. We done forgot about it. We had a pool party. We back on the game console.
Eating ice cream.
Right, we done forgot about the game.
Not worried about the umpire.
No.
How'd he call that? What's wrong with that play? Remember that swing?
We don't remember nothing. That's the most important thing. It's what you did in the game. It didn't matter about when you win or lose when you're that young.
Well, what else you're going to get to see when you watch that play ball is Ken Griffey Jr. was the first one, he and Bud Selig, that figured out everybody should wear 42 on that day. So when you see 42 being worn by every player, Ken Griffey Jr. and Commissioner Selig had that conversation to make that work. So when I think about Ken, I've known him so long that I was even there for his first Major League home run, and it was 31 years ago to this day. And the backstory behind that, he'd gotten one hit up to that point. He hit 500 in spring training. He got a hit his first at bat in Oakland and had gone 0 for 17 to that first pitch he saw in Seattle that you're watching the home run he's jogging around in right now. And he really thought, I'm never going to get another hit. Well, he took off after that, and I guess we all know what happened after that. He got a lot of hits because he's sitting in Cooperstown now. But Dan, you got to face Junior early on.
I didn't. I just can't get over when I think about the Griffeys getting a chance to play with your father. I mean, being in a big league uniform is tough enough, but to be in a uniform on the same team in the same lineup and hit back-to-back with each other in a big league game, to me, is the most astounding. I couldn't even comprehend that.
You know you're good when you don't make one out at all in your first year of playing Little League, and obviously the rest of the story we know very well. Guys, sit tight. When we come back on MLB Tonight, we'll check in with some of the guys around the league who are coming up with some pretty creative ways to pass the time as we wait for more baseball. That's next. Harold, Dan, and Fran back with you on MLB Tonight. Guys, coming up with interesting ways to pass the time here. How about Nick Solak and his fiancee Roxanne? They literally lined a baseball field in their backyard. They said, let's play ball. Pretty sweet backflip and all. Also, pitching on the mound there, it's Jose Barrios in full catcher's gear. Javi Baez of the Cubs. I mean, you don't realize just how talented these guys are sometimes until you see them in different positions. And Barrios shows some filthy stuff, no doubt. DJ LeMahieu, yeah, I think any NHL team could use him out there on the wing. He'd probably certainly be on a first line somewhere playing a little hockey with his dog. So guys coming up with interesting ways to pass the time here. What'd you think, guys?
You know, if David Ross ever sees that footage, he might have found his emergency catcher. Forget that second base, put Baez behind the dish, Harold.
And you're no doubt about it. And you're absolutely right about DJ being on the front line in a hockey match, too, because he's 6'5", man. That dude, 6'5", 230. He is enormous. He'd be out there banging some people around, put that gear on him. I don't know if he can skate, though.
All right, guys. Hey, it's good to see you. I know you guys have done a bunch of MLB Tonight. This is my first one. So, hey, be safe over the weekend. Enjoy Passover and also Easter. And we'll see you next week.